everybody. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. I am your host, Matt Connarton. Welcome to the television edition. And we'll get right to it. We have with us 2 weeks in a row, we have interesting guests. I was going to say returning guests, but we're not sure if you've ever actually been on this show before because it all gets very blurry.
It does.
But we have with us from Manchsterdam, Peter White. How are you, sir?
Thank you so much for having me on. I don't think I've ever been on Unleashed.
It's confusing. Because I've definitely sat in this chair with you in that chair before.
Yes.
But that may have been during Norman Friends. Because I seem to remember you and Joel coming on Norman Friends when Joel was running for office.
Yes.
And I think that was the last time that we've sat together in this type of configuration.
Yeah, I think so too. I actually haven't talked to you in a long time. And then I talked to you earlier this week.
Yes, yes.
A little chat. But
yes.
Yeah, I guess this is the show of shows right now, the hot show.
Well, last week's show did cause quite a stir.
Yeah.
John Hopwood was here, and that was interesting. For me, it was in some ways kind of a public mending of the fences with Mr. Hopwood. Not that he and I were ever really mad at each other. Right. But, several weeks ago, he had posted something on miscellanyblue.com, which was very critical of Gary Hopper and I.
What is that?
It's a liberal website where they just basically bash Republicans and such. Okay. I'm not a Republican. Gary is. I'm an independent. Some would say I may be a little left of center on balance, but so John Hopwood in this what he wrote was criticizing Gary and I for bringing on these, as he put them, free state wackos. Yes, and so forth.
I've heard that. I've heard him use that term.
And it's funny. I told him on the air when he came on. I said, "By the way, my girlfriend's a free state wacko." So he's like, "Oh, you should invite me over." He was very friendly on the air and off the air too. We met for coffee before. So when he wrote that piece on Miscellany Blue, I then took that. I don't know if you saw it. I took that and did a dramatic reading of it on the air.
Yes,
because that's what I like to do. In instances like that.
I happened to see that on TV,
yes.
I called him and said, hey, listen, Matt Connarton Unleashed is talking about you right now.
Yeah.
And that was, I did call him to tell him because I don't know, I was flipping the channels and there you were.
Yeah.
And I always when I go by channel 23, I always listen for a little bit and see, and I heard Hopwood's name. And
yep.
So I let him know, and I don't know where he was at the time. I don't know if he watched it. But
I know he watched it eventually,
right?
Because he told me that he saw it, and he said it made him laugh, which was cool because when I do those, and I've done quite a few dramatic readings over the years. Ginger Farrer has written emails to various people complaining about Norm and I, for example. I always enjoyed reading those on the air. There was one that started with. I'll never forget it. The first line was, "Is there no way to stop Matt Connarton?" Which made me laugh because
what does that even mean?
It makes it sound like I'm a supervillain. Or, is there no way to stop Matt Connarton? So, and there was a great one. Valancourt had once written an email. We were trying to get him on the show. I've always wanted to interview Steve Valancourt because he's so weird. and he's kind of a dream guest. But we couldn't get him on, and he said he had written this interview talking about how he wanted to come on, but then he realized we had recently had, as he put it, the vile Ross Terrio on the show. Oh. I don't know what's with all the supervillain talk, the vile Ross Terrio, and Ross is a good friend. But he wrote this very colorful email explaining why he wasn't coming on. I had a great time reading that on the air. So I love reading this stuff.
Well, according to Steve Valancourt, Manchsterdam is the armpit of Manchester.
Yes.
The armpit.
Where's Valancourt these days anyway? I wish he'd come back.
I don't know. He had a show on at 9 o'clock, then I think Chris Herbert took his slot.
Right, yeah. But so I have fun with that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed. I got to do my dramatic reading of John Hopwood's piece twice, actually, because I did it on this show, and then I did it later that day on Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. So I had fun with it. So then a couple weeks ago, after Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades, I stuck around because Bob Backus and Mike Farley on the Progress Report, they were stuck for a guest. Okay. So sometimes when that happens, they'll invite me to stick around and do their show. So I did, and we walk out at the end of the show, and John Hopwood is in the control room, and he had brought. Did he actually come on your show that night? I know he was here because he had cupcakes.
I believe. Okay, that the night of the article.
No, this was after the article. This was a few weeks after. This was just a couple of weeks ago. Maybe he didn't stick around. It was the night that Bill Berry came on.
Yeah, he wasn't on that night, I don't think.
Okay, because when
It was
I
on the week after, I believe. He came on at the end of the show.
Gotcha. Okay. So when we were leaving after Progress Report, he was in the control room, and he and I hadn't really talked or anything since this whole thing happened online. So he had cupcakes, and he mentioned they were from Bill Berry's campaign or something to do with Bill Berry. So, and he offered me one, and I took one, and then when he wasn't looking, I took a second one, because
Right.
that's the kind of person I am. I admit it. And they were delicious. So that night, I Facebooked him. He had unfriended me back when the whole thing happened with She Who Shall Not Be Named, because I refused to give her any publicity. But I Facebooked him, and I was unfriended but not blocked. So I was able to message him.
Right.
And I just said, hey, man, those cupcakes were awesome. I just wanted to see what he'd say.
Right.
And he replied, and we started a dialogue, and we were friendly, and everything was cool. And next thing I know, he's saying, maybe I should come on your show. And I said, I'd love to have you on the show. And he came on, and we had a great time, and all was good between he and I.
Right.
So much so, he then invited me to guest host his show last week, which I also enjoyed.
How was that? Were you hosted Ward 13?
Yes, I got to host Ward 13 last week.
I think
so
me
that was
and
fun.
Joel were the first guests.
Were you?
On Ward 13 when it debuted.
Oh, no kidding.
I believe I think that's the last other show I've done.
Oh, okay. I'll be damned.
After
yeah.
that, I was like, okay, I just concentrate on my show.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And it is, but
no, but I really enjoyed having John on. It was fun, and but it caused a bit of a stir. I know there were calls here apparently, and I heard from Rich Gerard. Rich wanted to know, what did Hopwood say, and all this. And
I think everyone wanted to know where the heck it was coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was surprised. We were named in it. Our TV show was named
Yes.
at the beginning of the article, which was, like I said, I found it quite ridiculous, to be honest with you. I did. I just some of it fabricated, some of it, most of it, if not all of it, taken out of context.
Okay.
From conversations that were had that evening.
Oh, okay.
Because we were watching television. Basically.
So you're talking about that night at
the night at the restaurant, the Pint.
Okay.
We just watched David Letterman after the show.
Yeah.
And that's all,
Letterman's
just
farewell
unwind for a minute. Yeah, it was his farewell show.
Yeah.
And it was light. It was nothing. We just sat there and watched the show. And
yeah.
I remember some of those conversations that he wrote about, all out of context.
Really?
Really. And there's nothing to hide here.
Right.
There's nothing to hide. It was just so ridiculous. And I'm surprised, it was posted on, was it Manchester Inklink, which has a new, was it called the soapbox? So you or I could even write an article.
Okay.
So it wasn't, no one else published that except Manchester Inklink, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. I found it strange. I found it. Then I got some peculiar messages on. I didn't see the article till Thursday, and I didn't. I went through your show a little bit because I found out about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And then on Friday morning, I got up and I had some unique messages. I think I showed you earlier.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think John has some personal problems right now that he's taking care of, and I consider him a friend.
Yeah.
I hope he gets the help he needs.
I like him. I like the guy.
That's all I can say. I don't know. I can't read people's minds. I don't know why they do things. I don't know. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Let me say.
Absolutely. So it was. I'll probably have him on again at some point when he's feeling up to it. But definitely an interesting guest.
Listen, we've had John on the show a number of times.
Yeah,
and he's a fun guest.
He is.
He's an educated man.
Yep, very smart.
He's a smart guy. Like I said, I the complete turnaround and the turnaround. He was one of the guys with us. And that's where I think I get most of my, you almost feel betrayed.
Right.
Is he my best friend? No. Is he a close friend? Not really. But you know what? He's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was just surprised.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything regarding. I don't know if Patrick Arnold hasn't responded to this in any way, has he, publicly?
I don't think so. I'm not real tight. Like everyone thinks, hey, what's Patrick Arnold doing? What's he saying?
Right.
I'm not real tight with the Arnold campaign.
Right.
Do I know him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I support him? Yes. Am I part of the campaign? No.
Right.
Will I hold a sign for him? Yeah.
Sure.
I love city politics and That's because on your show you do a lot of state politics, a lot of the
A lot of national.
right.
Yeah.
Our show, when we do talk about politics, it's usually the city stuff, you know, because I mean, there's so many colorful characters in this city.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, and like all those aldermen and you know the people running for mayor, what Jawed Alibaba, Glenn R.J. Willett, Patrick Arnold, Joyce Craig, Mayor Ted Gatzis. You know, Mayor Ted Gatzis was on our show over the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect all those people.
Yeah.
You know, we all
absolutely.
we all pick a candidate. We all go with the candidate, and right now, you know, Patrick Arnold for me anyway is you know the guy I support.
Yeah.
But do I respect Joyce Craig and Ted Gatzis? Yes.
I'm voting for Glenn R.J. Willett.
Glenn's yes, I respect him too.
He's a wonderful man.
Glenn is a character. He's one of those colorful characters.
Oh, he is. Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people don't care for him, but no, he's a good guy. He's very eccentric and very strange, to be blunt, and I think that puts off a lot of people. But Glenn's a great guy. Patrick, actually, I don't know very well. He did appear on this show once. It was the first show that we did when we moved here from QC News, because I think you and Ryan had come on once when I used to do the show.
Yes, we were downstairs across from, where was that?
In the Beacon building there.
The Beacon building, which I found when I got inside that building.
Yeah.
What a beautiful building.
Yeah, oh yeah, very nice. We have a call. Oh, I think Glenn R.J. Willett is on the phone. Hello, sir. Glenn, are you there?
Yes, this is Glenn R.J. Willett. I noticed the lovely and talented Peter White had mentioned my name of being one of the mayoral candidates.
He did.
I want to put Queen back into Queen City.
Now, Peter did say, though, he's supporting Patrick Arnold.
I'm very upset that Mr. Peter White is supporting it. I want to be the mayor of Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yes.
And I want to be I want him to endorse me on that Manchester Amsterdam show. I'm upset that he's supporting Peter Arnold because, as I said, I want to put the Queen back in the Queen City, and I want to climb Peter White like a tree.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness,
hilarious.
Glenn R.J. Willett. Well, you're both very tall men, so, you know, you might make a lovely couple. But I don't think Pete swings that way.
No.
I saw last week when you had Mr. Hopwood on.
Yes. Maybe he will endorse you.
I had jumped allegiance from Patrick Arnold. I was hoping that he was going to support my mayoral candidates. What I'm doing is I'm going to give everybody in the city old copies of the Queen City News.
Really?
I have so much in my storage shed that I figured people might have litter boxes or bird cages.
Yes. That sounds like a fire hazard, Glenn R.J. Willett. I'm not going to lie to you.
The People's Mayor.
The People's Mayor, yes.
Yeah, I have to go.
Oh. Did he leave? I heard sounded like young African boys in the background. I think he had to leave.
That's funny that you say that. So what do you have you talked to Glenn recently? Other than just now?
No. I was surprised to hear from him.
I haven't seen him in a while.
I don't see him. I used to see him every week
Right.
down in the green room, but I guess he's got a whole setup at home now, which is probably better for him in a lot of ways. A little more privacy.
Now, he does his show still here, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Glenn R.J. Willett's ever missed a show.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm on a streak of Manchsterdam shows since 2013 or something like that. We haven't, because when we first started, we used to, hey, it's snowing tonight. Why don't we just play a repeat?
Sure. Yeah.
But no, I don't know. The local stuff is the best.
Yeah.
And if you could, you could find your flavor. I mean, you got the Rich Gerard radio show. He has a show on here. You guys, Norm, us. I mean, it's just better than, putting on the national news or something. You find out what's going on around town,
Right.
I've always loved local stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the politics here is interesting too, because as John Hopwood himself made the observation, it's like all these feuds you see locally, politically, it's all personal.
Which is silly.
Very little of it has anything to do with actual policy.
Right.
It's all personal stuff.
It's like being in high school again.
Yeah, high school never
it's like
ends.
Being in
It really
high school
doesn't.
all over again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of, I'm curious to ask you about, speaking of feuds and all that kind of stuff, back in, I believe it was 2011, there was an epic feud, which IPM Nation was kind of at the center of, between Manchsterdam and Paul Cormier, host of Retro Spectrum Radio.
Yeah, Retro Spectrum Radio.
And I believe initially Paul's main gripe was with Mr. Gorman.
Right.
But then it sort of became this
blossomed.
all-encompassing thing. And
It made for, because that's back when we used to do the Peter White show on Sunday nights.
yes.
And I don't know, it was funny. So we liked what Paul was doing with the Retro Spectrum stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
We
It was
went
great.
on his show. We went down there.
Yeah.
And then we invited him on our TV show.
Yeah.
And we were in the other room with the brick background. Remember
Yes.
the brick days, I call them. And I just thought he was not appreciative enough. We were trying to help him in his radio show, and I guess I kind of felt that, and Ryan felt that, and John Manning felt that, and so that started the feud.
Yeah.
And it went on for quite some time.
Yeah.
And you got to see it all. I mean, because you guys were talking, because you guys did a show back then called VE.
Yep.
And we won't say, what it is, what VE is, because I don't think you can.
Yeah, I
got talked to about that once.
We've been discouraged from saying on the air what VE stands for.
Which is fine, but it's an old show that was on IPM Nation, big Sunday night lineup back in 2011.
Yeah.
So, that's it. So your question is about Paul. Must be because he's credited on our Manchsterdam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently fences have been mended.
Well, it's funny. It's 'cause that's one of the reasons I'm here also today, because coming up Sunday, June 7th, MAGA-palooza.
Okay.
And I'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But last year was the first one, and Paul is friends with Maggie's dad, Stephen Philbrook.
Okay.
And Paul was the stage manager at MAGA-palooza last year.
Yeah.
And me and Joel were the hosts.
Okay.
So you had to, that Sunday morning we went and we meet, and he goes, "Hi, Peter," and I said, "Hi, Paul." And
Okay, now I have to ask: did you know before you got there?
I did.
You did. Okay.
I did know, but I hadn't talked to him yet.
Okay.
So
okay.
there was a little awkwardness. I
Sure,
didn't know how
sure.
he was gonna. I didn't know what he was. But
Yeah.
You know what? I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself and about him, and it's silly. It was great radio.
Oh, absolutely.
It was great.
Absolutely.
And I think all of us knew that. It
yes,
was good radio.
Of course, yeah.
Paul's an interesting character because sometimes he seems like he's aggressive, and he doesn't mean to be aggressive. And
well, I know he's bipolar.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and he used to talk about that on the air. So I'm not telling stories
okay,
out of school.
okay.
He used to talk about that on his show and whatnot. So.
You know what? He still has his gripes about stuff sometimes, but I consider him a friend.
Yeah.
After MAGA-palooza happened, so that was last June. We invited him on. I think he came on the show a couple times, and then believe it or not, Paul Cormier makes the videos. All the Manchester videos.
Yeah.
And he does a really good job. He's very passionate about it. He's a very talented guy.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, why don't you, we got Tibbetts on the show now. The show's changed a little bit. We're at 10 o'clock. How about, when we, start in September, can you maybe make a new intro for us?
Mm-hmm.
And he made that intro that you see today, and I thank him for that.
Yeah. He's a talented guy. Absolutely.
So as far as Paul goes, he's part of our show. When we got the Hippo, the second best, we got the runner up again.
Yeah.
And the Hippo's best of, but we gave Paul a thing too for helping us.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
So we only get one copy. We just make copies.
Right. Yeah. No, that's cool. And I have no, when Retro Spectrum Radio ended on IPM Nation, it didn't end well. But
I think he thought you were taking our side, and you weren't picking sides.
Yeah, I had to be very careful. I had to
Right.
be Switzerland through that whole thing. And in fact, I remember at one point sending Ryan Gorman an email
Right.
saying, hey, man, I just want to make sure I'm not, because the thing is, I was in the studio, like I was a part of Paul's show, Retro Spectrum Radio. I was helping him. Basically, I was acting as an engineer, sort of.
Yeah.
Helping him get on the air and everything because he didn't have his own studio to do the show and whatnot. And sometimes I would talk on the show, so I was kind of like a second mic or third mic, depending who was there. So because I was involved in the show, I remember just emailing Ryan and saying, hey, I just want to make sure you know I'm not taking his side or anyone's side. I said I'm loving this because it's creating a ton of publicity and buzz, which helps all of us.
Yes,
I love
it's
that
fun.
kind of stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
As you know, we go into the Tom Ford story.
Oh yeah,
which is great.
Yeah.
We don't have to go.
That was epic stuff too. But
people take it so seriously, and I take it seriously too. I love doing this stuff.
Yeah.
I love doing the Manchsterdam show because if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I would. It's when it stops. Norm said one time when we first all met down at MCAM, he goes, when it's not fun anymore, I'm not going to do it. And I kind of go by that also.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Because it's, but I mean, I love doing that show. I've done this kind of stuff since I was a kid in my room.
Yeah.
But as far as like those feuds and stuff, you're right. It creates whatever ratings there are for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fun stuff.
I used to love when I was a kid. They don't really do this anymore, but when radio stations would feud with each other.
Yes.
Like I remember listening to, when I was a kid, I'd listen to, now it's WJMN, Jammin' 94.5, but when I was a kid at one point it was WZOU. And you remember that?
You could talk about that with Karen Blake and
yes,
I know all about that.
Okay, yep.
Before it was WZOU, I believe it was WCOZ when I was a real little kid.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But WZOU, yes.
And they would feud with Kiss 108.
Right.
Now that's unheard of. Radio stations don't mention each other on the air.
Because there's not truly local stations anymore. They're all bought. It's
all corporate.
Yeah. And by the same corporation.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
And that's what kind of stinks. Like back in the day, if you, like just say for Manchester, for instance, people listen to WKBR and WFEA AM back in the day.
Yeah.
And you'd have a guy go in and DJ for 4 hours, and he'd pick the records.
Right.
All he'd have to do is put his commercials in. But it's not like that anymore. It's just it's not true radio. I mean, you have DJs and stuff. Hey, this is Greg. Greg in the Morning Buzz.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're on Rock 101. They're on WHEB and all over New England.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a syndicated show.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's not a bad show.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, it's just something about a guy going into a room and people tuning in and having the personality that people will tune in and playing whatever he wants. Hey, I got this new record at the record store the other day. I want you guys to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I think payola is still alive and well when it comes to the music business.
Oh, sure. Sure.
And I think you do music on IPM Nation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's and you see that firsthand. Some of the best music out there we're not hearing. Because of the, big companies owning all the radio stations and stuff. So I could talk about that for hours.
But I used to love that when I was a kid. Radio stations feuding with each other, and you don't really, or with satellite radio when Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony used to feud. Love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's good. No more Opie, right?
No more Anthony. Anthony, he does the Anthony Cumia show, which is strictly online. Apparently, he's having a lot of success with it.
Oh, okay.
But he had some unfortunate tweets, and so now he feuds with Opie. So you can go on YouTube and find clips of them talking about each other, and that stuff is fascinating. So
it is fun.
But I have and just for the record, I have no ill will toward Paul. Like I said, things ended badly. But I actually tried to. I don't know if you know about this. Well, you might know about this because I think you were involved in part of the initial conversation. It was a Sunday night. We were doing VE. So I believe it was Dan Randlett and Chris Rose, because they were in the studio, because they were the hosts, and I was kind of third mic. And so I was there too. And I think you were on the phone, because sometimes we would call you or you would call in.
Yes.
And we were talking about, somehow Paul Cormier's name came up. And you were saying you wished that he would come back and do his show again, get his show started.
Because it got boring after he left. Not boring.
Right, but it wasn't the same.
Right.
It wasn't, it just wasn't the same. And so I said, I think I messaged him on Facebook, because I think at that point he had unfriended me but not actually blocked me, I think. So I think I was able to message him, because we were talking about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to message him right now. I think it would be great if he came back and did a show. And then I heard from him a couple days later, and he said something about, he'd be interested. And then I think I heard from him again the following day, and he said, "Never mind, there's no way I'm doing it. I heard what Dan said about me.
Yeah.
Dan said something about him on the air, and he took it personally." And
Yeah.
And that was the last communication I ever had with him. But,
I think Paul, like I said, I don't talk to him every day. I don't, but Paul's doing a lot better.
That's good.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing great. I just talked to him recently. Paul will actually be at Magapalooza as a stage manager on Sunday.
Oh, very good.
So he'll be around Sunday.
Yeah.
So excited for that.
Yeah. We should. Do you want to talk about that? What this is?
Yeah, if you want. It's we talked about it on our show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm wearing this Maggie's Beat T-shirt because it's good. But it's all started. It's actually kind of it's a sad story.
Yeah.
My friend Stefan lost his daughter to a rare form of cancer. It's I would like to say it, but I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
But it was a real sad story. We kind of followed it on our TV show. We kind of took the journey with Stefan because he put it out there for everyone on social media. So all his friends and stuff like that could see what from the minute she was diagnosed to when she passed. And it was sad. So now it's all positive.
Okay.
It's taking something that's such a tragedy to anyone. It's going to be the worst thing that could possibly happen to somebody.
Right.
A parent to lose a child. And she was it was in Manchester Inkling, a very spunky, funky kid. She loved music. She loved percussion. Stefan take his family all the time to music shows and stuff. Still does to this day. He has 2 other children. And started this. This was her idea before she passed. She wanted to have something to promote, all this stuff, all the music she liked, all the things that she liked, all the causes that she liked.
Sure.
So we have take for instance plenty of nonprofits, and I'm going to read it here just so I get it right.
Sure.
Canine Commitment of New England, which they'll be there on Sunday at Veterans Park. There's a puppy kissing booth, and you think it's silly. I saw it last year. It was so cute.
Yeah.
It really was. And then instead of gifts, on Maggie's 11th birthday, she requested donations for Canine Commitment of New England.
Yeah.
And the Philbrook family has adopted 2 puppies from the Canine Commitment of New England that are still with them today. Cool. So Make-A-Wish, of course, will be there.
Yeah.
There's a lemonade stand from Isabella. And Isabella goal last year for her lemonade stand was $2,000. And she was $200 short of her goal. She ended up raising up over $800 during last year's event.
Wow.
And then there's Flashes of Hope, another nonprofit. It's a photo booth. Let's see. Yeah, it's the Flashes of Hope of Northern New England. It's a photo booth, and they volunteer time and money to take pictures of child patients at CHAD. And they did 2 photo shoots of Maggie, which, if anyone knows this, they're beautiful pictures. I mean, she was, no hair, nothing. They're black and white. They're beautiful professional pictures, and Maggie looks beautiful in them.
Yeah.
But the main thing, we got 4 bands. Delaney Pickering, 2014 Granite State Music Fest winner. She's a guitarist, singer, songwriter. Her sound ranges from soft-spoken to raw blues of the Mississippi Delta. Stefan showed me this girl. I believe she's only 17 or 18 years old, and she's already winning awards. So
good for her.
She's got a big future ahead of her. Gretchen and the Pickpockets. They're a 2015 New England Music Award winner. They're going places too, so they'll be there. And then back from last year, back by popular request, is Ross Livermore Band, another 2015 New England Music Best in Mass nominee. They're going to be there, and then we're going to end the day with Adam Ezra Group.
Oh, very cool. I've interviewed Adam Ezra.
Adam is an awesome guy. We talked last year. He's going to go on last. He actually had a personal relationship with Maggie and the Philbrooks, and Maggie actually got to play drums with the group AEG. So it's
cool.
awesome. So it's Sunday, doors open at 11 a.m.
Okay.
It's family friendly, puppy kissing booth. For those of us, or for those of you, I sure like to have a cold one. There will be a beer garden. I believe Auburn Pitts is food. It's awesome. So you can get your tickets. If anyone wants to, they can get tickets at Pappy's Pizza. Tickets $10. A suggested amount, because it's a donation.
Yeah.
It's a nonprofit. It's an awesome thing. So, like I said last week on the Manchsterdam show, go down to Pappy's, get a steak and cheese, and get your MAGApalooza tickets.
Yeah, very
I love
cool.
Pappy's. That's why I got to give them a plug.
I haven't been there in a long time, but yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
They're
that's
nice down
awesome.
there. They do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of stuff for the city. So that's really excited for it. And the big news: me and Joel Moose Elber, will be hosting.
Excellent.
We'll be hosting
Good
that
for you.
day.
Good.
So we're excited.
Is Paul stage managing again?
Paul will be there too.
Good.
So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. We're psyched.
That's excellent. Good, and we'll mention that again.
Believe it or not, Paul. Like I said, Paul has come a long way.
Good for him. No, I'm very glad to hear that.
Yeah, it really is. He's he's working hard right now. He's a limo driver.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
No
I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. But yeah, he's a limo driver, and he's doing well.
Good for him. Yeah, maybe we'll take another whack at trying to get him to come back and do his show.
Yeah. Oh.
Not to put you on the spot, Paul, if you're watching, but
yeah.
But I'm just putting you on the spot.
He's outside waiting for me in my limo.
Yeah.
He's my driver.
Okay. See, I didn't make that connection. That makes sense.
Kidding. He's not my driver. He's not my driver. Hilarious.
Well, I'm curious to talk about Manchsterdam a little more because the show's changed a lot.
Yeah, new people.
When I first met you guys, and when we first added you to IPM Nation, it was you and Gorman and Midas.
Yes.
John Midas Manning, or I'm never sure. Is it, or do you say Midas John, or do you say DJ Midas, or what?
I say John Manning.
Okay. Does he ever come on the show anymore?
He hasn't in a long time.
Okay.
He has been on.
Because I know he's been on as a guest a couple times since
he's been on we had Ryan on last year as a guest.
Yeah.
Ryan came on once also.
Yeah.
But yeah, time, people, people's lives change. They, with Ryan, he had another baby.
Yeah.
He had a full-time job.
Yeah.
It was hard for him to commit all his time to doing the show.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything drastic where, Gorman, you're not doing the show anymore. He just slowly started, hey guys, I don't think I'm going to make the show tonight. So it was me and Joel.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because I remember it wasn't like it was just like it was a clean break. It wasn't like
it wasn't negative. I mean, Gorman, geez, I love the kid. I mean, if it wasn't, Manchsterdam wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
And that's true. So he left. It was me and Joel for a while, a whole summer of me and Joel by ourselves, I think. I don't know, was it 2013 or 24? I don't know what it was. I forget. But I can't say enough about Joel.
Yeah. Best newsman in the business.
When we did the 11 o'clock show, and like I said, it was different. We got away with a lot more.
Yeah.
We really didn't. I think we were still trying to kind of find ourselves as far as, where are we going to, you don't want to be a show that's already on the air. You want to try to be try to offer something different. And so Joel's been on since the beginning of the TV show, pretty much. It was me, John Manning, and Ryan.
Yeah.
But Joel was our guest a lot.
Right.
Even down at MCAM.
Yeah.
Joel, if you go to the old MCAM shows, you can find him online.
Oh, yeah.
Joel's there.
Yeah.
And then we came over here to this studio, and we put Joel in the news desk.
Oh my God, I used to love that so much. I can't even tell you. It was, to me, that was like the best thing on television. Joel reading the news. I'm not even kidding.
He would open the show.
Yeah.
He would open the show.
The green screen. And it was awesome.
It was so. And it's funny because we usually, like I said, it's guys' night out for us. So we usually go out to, get something to eat and then, have a couple of beers. But at the 11 o'clock show, you have an extra hour to have on. So it's crazy. It was a crazy time. It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, geez. And then, same thing with John. John left the show first. John Manning left the show first because he was DJing, and Midas is a serious DJ.
He's a busy guy.
He's not just someone that's down here, down there. He gets gigs
Oh,
around
yeah.
New England,
Oh,
and
yeah.
people pay him. He's been doing it. I'm going to tell you, I've known John Manning. Since I'm going to tell you, it's been 30 years. I was 15 years old when I met him.
I remember you guys talking about that on the air. Yeah.
But when John was very young, he might have been 17 or something, maybe even younger than that. He used to somehow rent out empty mill buildings and throw these giant underground raves.
Yeah.
And all his, all the DJ friends and stuff would just come and play.
Yeah.
And I mean, till they, obviously put a stop to it. But,
Right.
I mean, we were all young kids then. We weren't even 21. We couldn't go out and have a beer. Yeah, John has DJ Midas, aka John Manning, is definitely a top tier DJ.
Yeah,
in New
yeah.
England, I would say. So he had a lot of other stuff going on with gigs, and it's hard. 11 o'clock at night every Wednesday does get
Yeah.
old, especially when it gets cold in the winter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that, and then like I said, Ryan, still both two of my best friends.
Yeah.
And I believe, I mean, I haven't heard anything. I believe they support the show still. And,
Sure,
and,
yeah.
And because when Ryan and John started it, before we were on TV, we did it on Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
And there's maybe about 3 episodes in, because we used to do it on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
Joel called. And that's Joel's actual first appearance on Manchsterdam.
Oh, no kidding.
Joel called one time, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm so thirsty." Like he was in one of his funny moods. And so it's funny how it has, where we are at today.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I feel like Joel's my rock during the show. Like
Yeah.
he just means so much to me.
Yeah.
He really does. He's my best friend.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't say enough good things about the Moose.
And he's a character.
Oh my God.
I mean, we were talking about Hopwood being a character. I mean, Joel Elber is really a character.
Oh, when he started, and then I knew he liked being on the show. I'm
Yeah.
like, and then John left, and we're like, Moose, you got to come on. You got the third mic.
Yeah,
You got the,
he kind of moved up.
Yeah, and then we did oh my God, and the news though, the news.
Oh, that was amazing.
And Joe Lar, who used to direct the show back then, we had green screens, and he had the news, so it looked like a real newsroom.
Yeah.
And then me and Ryan would be in the back, and
Yeah.
Joe, we'd be in the back. Like, it was amazing.
it was great stuff.
Good stuff.
Very,
it was
very
good
funny.
stuff.
So now you have. So tell us about the gentleman who is the third mic now.
Again, another awesome guy, Don Tibbetts.
Yeah.
I went to Manchester Central High School here in the Queen City, and
We have actually, Joel. We'll learn more about him in a moment.
Oh.
Because I believe we have Mr. Joel Moose Elber on the phone. How are you, sir? Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed.
Hey guys, it's Joel Moose Elber, and I just want to tell you what a great show you guys are putting on this afternoon. I'm sitting in my recliner. I'm relaxing for the big show tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Amsterdam.
Yes.
But the main reason I'm calling about Sunday with the Macapalooza, I'm going to tell you something out there in Manchester. If you missed it last year, go this year, because it is a treat. It's a great, fun, like Peter mentioned early, go to Pappy's, get your tickets, get a steak and cheese, get there, gates open up at 11 o'clock. It's going to be fantastic, great bands. The weather's going to be 75, a great family event. Get out there, enjoy, and we'll see you all Sunday. Thanks.
All right. Thanks,
Moose.
Joel.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye, Joel.
Moose, I love you, man. Wow.
I was kind of hoping, too, while he was on the line, he might announce his candidacy for something. Do you know if he's going to run for anything again?
So we don't know yet.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We'll let you know. It might
We'll see.
something might be brewing.
I hope so.
So we don't know. I don't know if the official announcement we're ready, but I don't know if he's officially decided yet.
Yeah.
I think we're waiting to see where some other people fall,
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I think he has till July. I don't know what's the date for the. Joe, you know what the date is for the last time you could file if you're running for something? It's like July 10th or July. I don't. I'd have to look it up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
So Mr. Tibbetts, Don Tibbetts.
Yeah, I went to Central back in the 80s, graduated in 1988. went through Central, and all kids, 70s, part of the 70s, part of the 80s, I mean, all of the 80s and all of the 90s had to go through Don Tippett's physical education class.
Yeah.
And he was a great teacher. Made everyone feel special.
Yeah, yeah.
Had a nickname for everybody.
Yeah.
Tries his best to still to this day remember everybody. Hey, yo, yo.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
when I'm with him,
yeah,
it's nonstop.
Right.
It's nonstop. We actually had him as a guest in November of 2015. We had him as a guest in November, December of 2013.
I remember that. Actually,
and we kind of we featured him as a guest, and then we asked him back.
Yeah.
It was such a positive show and stuff, and he hasn't left yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love having him on the show. We've asked him. Like I said, it's fun. He's like I said, anyone who went through Central remembers him.
So you were a student of his.
Yes.
You went through.
So when you take phys ed at Central High School, you're at that awkward. Let's see, it's freshman and sophomore year, so you're whatever 13, 14, 15 years old, and even if you weren't good, like say you weren't particularly good at phys ed.
Yeah.
He'd still make you feel like a superstar.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
And he's great. He's retired now, and
it's also just wild that I'm sure you think about this sometimes.
I do.
That who would have thought when
he was a popular teacher there also, like I said, all the kids liked him because he didn't look down on the kids. He was like, hey, made you feel like a person, not like, hey. If you were doing something wrong, he'd say, come on, cut it out,
but
guys.
a lot of gym teachers will clearly favor the jocks in their class.
Right, and he wasn't like that.
That's
at all.
awesome. Yeah,
he wasn't like that. I mean, he'd, like I said, a lot of people think that job's an easy job, but to get kids to get out of their regular clothes and put on gym clothes for 45 minutes, and then change back into them.
Right.
I mean, that's not that easy to do. So it's a tough job, I think. Tougher than people think.
Right. But it's just so wild to think about, when you were there in his class,
If I could see the future.
Right. Someday you'd be doing a TV show with him, It's amazing.
Well, he like I said, when you walk on the street, he's very, he'll say, "Hey, Joe, hey, Steve, hey," he'll remember you.
Yeah.
And he did that with me all these years, and now I consider him a friend because I get to spend, an hour with him. And
and he's very funny.
We have a few hours.
Yeah. He brings a lot of energy to the show. Yeah.
He does. We all, I don't know. It's just a different, it's not Ryan Gorman and it's not John Manning, but the show continues and it moves on.
Well, why I think it works too is because you have three distinct personalities.
Right.
And you don't always see that with shows like that. Sometimes everyone's kind of got a similar vibe going, but you've got three distinct personalities that all function really well together.
Yes.
And you're fortunate in that way because that, like with the original Manchsterdam, it was the same thing. Like what I remember really enjoying with the original Manchsterdam was that kind of that contrast between, Gorman is so kind of, I don't know if hyper is the right word, but he's kind of intense, and he would have that intensity, and you were next to him, and you're much more laid back.
Try to be.
You're kind of the cool guy next to Gorman being all intense, and the contrast of it was really cool. And then the way Midas fit into that too, it just worked, and you had these three distinct personalities that just fit together really well on the air. And now it's you and two other people in those roles, but again, you've been able to. It's the same thing. You've got three distinct personalities who just work really well together on the air. It's very cool.
And for those that are wondering, sitting here with Joe Elber at this desk every Wednesday night, it's like if I see him on a Friday or Saturday, it's the same thing. I mean, he that's another thing. No one tries to be anybody they're not. I mean, our personalities are out there.
Right.
And that I don't know. I think that's why it's kind of a popular show. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, we got a lot of people watching now, and like I said, it's fun to do. Mm-hmm. And when it's not fun to do, we'll pack up shop and call it a day.
Joel's a complex guy, though, because I remember when it was first announced that he was running for office, I didn't know, and I think a lot of people felt this way, I didn't know how to take it at first. I was like, is he serious? Is it a publicity stunt? What is it? And then when you guys came on Norm and Friends, I realized very quickly, what did he run for? Was it school board?
Yeah, school board in Ward 12.
In Ward 12, okay. Once he started talking, I realized, no, he's serious because he knows what he's talking about.
You thought guys might have thought it was a stunt.
I wasn't sure. I honestly wasn't sure, but then I realized, no, he's serious and he knows his stuff and he's speaking very articulately.
Does he really know his stuff?
Well, he knows more about the school board than I do, so maybe he doesn't know his stuff, and I don't know that he didn't know his stuff.
Have you seen his...
but he convinced me.
Have you seen his...
I remember Tom Ford's comment, though. I bet he couldn't even conjugate a verb.
Oh. That was another... that wasn't weird, because we were friendly with that show also. And then it got really awkward and really uncomfortable. And to the point where, stuff went down. I'm not going to talk behind the scenes. And we have the 10 o'clock, stir it up.
Yeah. Well, he tried to come back, I remember. Like, he left.
Yes.
And then he came back and said,
Then he did a couple shows from his house.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was weird.
That was strange.
Yeah, that was very strange. I didn't need to see the inside of Tom Ford's home.
Oh, with his cardboard cutout of himself in the back?
That was weird stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing against the guy. I actually used to enjoy his show. Actually, when I would enjoy his show is when he would discuss politics, because politically he and I were actually kind of on the same vibe in a lot of ways, But
I think his show, as TV shows do when they say jump the shark, when Kevin Baker left.
Yeah.
The girl was nice, and then I don't even forget.
She didn't last long, though, did she? Because I never even saw any of those episodes that she was on.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of know what happened there. But
okay. and then the gentleman who shaved his head, I forget his name.
I do too. I don't remember. He wasn't a bad guy.
No, I like him very much, actually. He was a really nice guy.
Good music guy.
Yeah.
Knows stuff. So.
But Tom and Kevin Baker, I thought, they had a certain chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know what Kevin's doing now. I haven't even heard from him in a while.
I'm his friend on Facebook. He's still doing his thing, getting his message out there. And, Kevin's a great guy. We actually, when we went to 10 o'clock, well, maybe not the first week, but the second week, we didn't have Kevin. We used "Stir It Up" as our the song "Stir It Up" when we debuted at 10. And then I think we eventually had Kevin Baker on, and Tom Ford was calling him, making threats and stuff to him. And
was he?
Yeah,
I didn't see that. Oh my God!
Isn't that taking things a little bit too seriously?
During the show,
yeah.
Tom Ford called in and threatened Kevin.
Oh no, not during the show.
Oh, okay.
Privately.
Oh, okay.
Privately.
Yeah.
So, but it's whatever.
Yeah. Tom's kind of an intense guy.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? I liked his show too. He had Bob Lobel on his show.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I asked him in the background. I was like, "Hey, can I sit down? Can I sit down with you guys?" Because we were already up here.
Yeah.
And he let me sit down and talk to Bob Lobel for like five minutes. I got to say what I wanted to Bob Lobel, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's probably one of my highlights up here at TV 23.
Oh,
fun.
Tom was good for something then.
Yeah, no, and I just don't know what happened. Him and speaking of the contrast in personalities was him and Joel. They did not get along.
Yeah,
for some strange reason.
Which is so weird to me. Who couldn't get along with Joel? Like, Joel's such a nice guy. He's a good dude,
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
Well, wasn't it something about you guys were waiting to come on because Tom's show would end and then you guys were on next and there was some weird thing
when we were in the other room, it was kind of open air. It wasn't like we're enclosed now. The doors are closed.
Right. There didn't used to be a separate room for the control room. It was all one big room.
We'd have to whisper, and then I'd say something to Joel, and he'd laugh like Joel laughs.
Yeah.
Tom would get mad. Hey, we're doing a show here, and that was kind of disrespectful. We tried, we tried not to do it.
Yeah, it wasn't like you guys were being malicious or anything.
No, not at all.
Tom should have just had fun with it.
Should have.
And who could hear? That's the thing. Well, I know something similar too happened here when Tom came back, right? Because Joel was laughing in the control room, and because I remember saying on the air, because I talked about it on this show, and I was like, who could ever, how much of a curmudgeon does someone have to be to hear Joel Elbers laugh not have it bring joy to them?
Right.
Joel has he's got like that Ace Frehley laugh.
He's probably laughing right now.
Probably. I wish I could hear it. I love Joel's laugh. Who could hear Joel's laugh and be mad about it? You know what I mean? I don't care, even if it's in an inappropriate moment. Who could be mad hearing Joel Elber laugh?
I don't think, since I've known Joel for almost, let's see, Manchsterdam's been on almost 6 years. I've known him for just about all that time.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can't say enough good things about the guy and how I don't know.
Yeah.
He makes my day.
Yeah.
If I'm having just talking to him, like, it makes me laugh, makes my day. You know, it's good stuff.
Did you said that his first appearance on Manchsterdam was that time he called in when you guys were on Blog Talk?
Yes.
Did you know him prior to that?
I met Joel at we live in an apartment complex in Ward 12, and I met Joel one summer at the pool.
Oh, okay.
And I had already lived there. They had just moved in.
Yeah.
And started shooting the breeze, and the rest is history, they say, Moose.
Yeah. Wow. No kidding. That's funny. Yeah, it's funny to, when you think back of moments where you first meet people and then you don't realize at the time, obviously, because you can't see the future, how important they're going to become to you down the road. But
because I'll say this about you, as far as you and your IPM Nation, as I remember all of us, we do our show because we taped at the time.
Right.
We were on at 11 o'clock, but we were on MCAM. We were a taped show, so we go in at 4 o'clock. Were you guys taped too?
We were live. I'm sorry. You know what? With Norm and Friends at that time, at the really old studio at MCAM, we would do 2 shows because we had the live show, and at that time we were on in the morning from 10 a.m. to noon.
That's right.
And then we would tape, and then we had this other half-hour show that was taped.
Okay.
So, and I think the first time I met you, I think I met you and Ryan at the same time.
Yes.
And it was after, or it might have been between shows. We had done the live show, and then we were going to do the tape show in a little bit.
Okay.
And you guys were there. I think you guys had come in to tape.
I remember saying, well, me and Ryan, having a private conversation between me and Ryan, like, yeah, that Matt guy, he has a website.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get our show on that website. And then we're like, what does he have? Some sort of, we're trying to figure out. Like, that's what you do, And then, we got to know you over the weeks and stuff. And then I believe not too many people came over from there to here. There's a handful of people.
Right.
You, Norm, me, Ryan, John Manning, Glenn R.J. Willett.
Ginger Farrer.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure there's a few more.
We'll never get rid of her. Yeah.
She's still doing a show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
She moved to another, I don't know if you know about this, she moved to another day just to get away from me.
Which
God's
is
honest
ridiculous.
truth. She used to be on, I forget if it was right before or right after me. Oh, it was right before me. She'd be on at 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. She moved to Thursdays just to not have to run into me in the control room.
Come on. When it gets like that, that's ridiculous.
But this is the same woman who began an email about me with the sentence, "Is there no way to stop Matt Connarton?" So obviously she takes me pretty seriously. Much more seriously than I take myself.
I haven't seen her show in years. I don't know. I know she just has a serious show.
Oh, she's very serious.
She's very serious. You can't take yourself too. I mean, like I said, I respect everyone that has a show.
Aspartame and public housing are very serious issues, Peter. These are very serious issues.
As she drinks a Diet Coke.
No, she doesn't. I've got that covered.
Oh, okay, good.
I don't believe the aspartame thing. The only reason I don't is because I've noticed the people who seem to be convinced that aspartame gives you cancer, not always. And I need to make that clear in case Jen's watching. Not always, but more often than not, they're the same people who believe in conspiracy theories. So I have a credibility. I see a credibility gap there.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
So, and I don't really like coffee, so that's how I get my caffeine is Pepsi Max.
What show's up next?
After us is.
I'm just curious.
Oh my God! Inside Story.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Norm and Friends.
And then Norm and Friends. Yeah.
And then you're back after that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're only doing 2 shows now and not 4.
I'm down to 2. Although sometimes if they ask me to stay for Progress Report, that's another show. And who knows, maybe John Hopwood will ask me to guest host for him again. So.
Yeah, maybe. He hasn't asked anyone in our camp.
We're about out of time, but before we go, please mention
let's put this up.
again.
You might have seen these around town. These are the MAGA Palooza posters. The 20... Yeah. Yeah, pretty awesome. Sorry, I was making sure it was the right one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've seen them around town. I've seen them at the Puritan. I've seen them in Pappy's Pizza, and you can also get your tickets at maggiesbeat.com. org
Okay.
or org.
Orange. Very nice.
That's it. And that's Sunday at Veterans Park. And we're excited. We're excited. Last year, it was at McIntyre, which was fun. But now you got the backdrop of the city.
Yeah.
You got the big stage down at Veterans Park. And like I said, I was excited last year. I'm even more excited this year.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. And let's also mention, too, of course, Manchsterdam, live tonight at 10 p.m.
Yeah, tonight we're going to have local artist Mike Gonzalez
Very nice.
On the TV show. So
Very good.
Looking forward to that.
And, of course, you can watch that on IPM Nation as
they
well
can,
as
yes.
on TV23. And also, too, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, the audio edition of Manchsterdam on the IPM Nation live station.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always, we could talk off the air, but we've been talking about doing another like we used to do, and I stopped doing that other show just because Ryan was,
Peter White show. Yeah.
I just wanted to concentrate on this one, and because it was a lot to do. So
Yeah.
but excuse me.
But I'd love to see the Peter White show come back.
Oh, that
Not
was
to put
fun.
you on the spot, but we put Paul Cormier on the spot, so now we're putting you on the spot.
Sunday.
I do, yeah.
I miss Chris Rose too. I know he's down in Massachusetts, so if you talk to him, tell him I said hello.
I will. He's been doing a lot of theater, so he's been a busy guy.
Right.
But yeah, I'd
Please
love
tell
to.
him I said hello. Tell Dan I said hello. Tell all the guys I said hello.
I'd love to get VE going again. That whole
Right.
Sunday night block. Yeah, we'll make it happen. It just takes time.
Fun stuff.
People get busy. But Peter, thank you so much. This has been great.
Thank you.
And if you are watching us live on Wednesday, I will be back at 6 p.m. with the Honorable Gary S. Hopper for Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. And today's show will be up and available on demand later on this evening. Thank you all, and I'll talk at you all later. Bye.